Ash. But you never know. Maybe we'll see Fly play it, and then he'll change his mind.
I gotta say, I'm coming around to you, Achilles, because for once we didn't have a 3-game first series. And if Tigers are to win here, that would send it to a 3 series, but I'm hoping that Atlas is now the 6-game caster. We'll bring him in for the big matches. And then for the other ones, perhaps for the Jin Air games, we'll make you an honorary Jin Air caster.
Oh no, this is the worst thing that you could have possibly said to me, Papa Smithy.
Well, I wasn't going to give you a real compliment, so I definitely had to temper it with a lot of Jin Air at the end.
That's true, nice little backhanded compliment there. Well, here we are in the pick ban for game number 2. So Malzahar Varus banned away by the Rocks.
Yeah, the Varus ban is one to call out, given that Maha has played his last 4 games on this reworked Varus. So the first time we're seeing that off the Rift, and a Renekton ban is curious. On the side of MVP with no other top laners taken out, we see Camille will be banned. We should definitely take stock of what's available. It seems like quite a lot in terms of this draft. Rengar, for example, from the jungle. But there are much less must bans at this juncture. I would say Graves is perhaps on the must ban. A lot of teams don't want to deal with Malzahar, so you can understand that. Camille. But apart from those 3, it's all pretty situational, and we do see all 3 of those champions slipping through from time to time. Rumble once again available. Remember, Rocks banned it when they had access to first pick it. So it would be a big movement if they would take it here, so I have to imagine they're going to move away from that pick. And we're probably not going to see as early priority on the mid lane champions either.
But Rengar, yeah, is available. We'll see that locked in for Mighty Bear. Don't want to hand that one over to Beyond. And it's going to be an Ashe coming in for Maha now that Varus is off the table. So still plenty of ADCs to choose from here for Songyun.
He and Prey seem to be in the school of thought of initiation from the AD carry role, and Varus and Ashe fit those 2 the tightest. With the top 2 junglers out, Elise has very often been the pick, but it's a Beyond special. It's his most played champion this season, so I'm sure he's not going to have too much pause about locking it in. Let's see if the Tigers return to early rotation mid, which I don't think got them much. In fact, it seemed to cost them in terms of the previous game. So maybe just top lane or AD carry and support, depending on which one they want to go for. But first rotating mid lane, unless it's Talon, seems to be a thing of the past.
Well, it's going to be Ezreal to start things off here for Songyun.
Definitely be Lulu or Karma for some safety in the bot lane.
Yeah, Lulu would also take away from MVP.
Was
so they
banned
can't run
in
that
the previous game, and it's the best performing champion for Key, 6-1 on the Lulu. So I'd like to see Lulu here, but we'll see if Rox disagrees.
Taking their time, really thinking about this one as the clock runs down, but looks like they're going to go for something a little bit more aggressive with the Zyra here for Key.
You've missed some of the previous match days, and Zyra's really jumped up in priority this week, interestingly, to get the push priority in bot. Even jumped past Karma, who was the go-to pushing support before. And I'd love to see the return of ADD's Rumble. He was the best of the first Rumbles we saw this soon. By that I mean that everyone has realized that Rumble is coming up to a must-be-able-to draft given his pushing priority in a tank meta. And also, recently, with AD casters mid being so powerful, you lock in Elise and Rumble, and we'd kind of be surprised not to see something like a Talon in the mid lane. Talon and Jace are big expected picks and possibilities here for Ian, so I'd like to see Rox target some of the physical damage mid laners, because that's what MVP is really setting up for.
See where they go. Kennen going to be taken off the board here by MVP. Don't want that going to the hands of Shy. Have that big pressure matchup against the Rumble.
Shy actually used to be a big player of the top lane Fizz, so it could be the Fizz as the second ban on the side of MVP. And I'm looking for physical damage mid lane bans from Rox Tigers, even though there's a chance MVP want to do something else. I'll start off with Ye Old Scion ban. This is a support Scion ban. So that's pretty dumb.
This is
It's not even a flex pick. I mean, I guess you could say Rumble's a flex pick, but that's a bit silly.
The Rumble support.
To be clear, I know you guys saw the Scion amazing teamfight play where he got a 4-man stun and a quadra kill and a 4-man ult, but you did lose lane super duper hard, as much as you could, and yet it's still being banned by Rox Tigers.
I'm tilted mildly here. Talia, final ban away by MVP. Still want to keep that one out of the hands of Mickey yet again.
No physical damage mid lane bans, and okay, let's ban Vel'Koz too. Why not?
They're just really targeting out Max here, but I mean, he's played 14 different champions.
We literally had a graphic. There's not enough bans, to be clear, so I really don't know what's going on with Rox.
There's not enough bans between both teams.
To me, you only do these bans if you feel like there's 5 amazing champions and you want 2 of them. You know, to keep the champion pool larger for your 2 champions, because the Velcos especially is just a junk ban. You might as well not ban in that spot.
All right, well, Tom Kench just picked here yet again for Max. Had some really good Abyssal Voyages in Game 1, so fairly unsurprising. And Rox probably feeling a little bit silly at this point if they were really serious with those bans.
I wonder if they're going to Zed. It wouldn't be the best time for a Zed, but it'd be a time for the Zed. Wouldn't be terrible either.
Be an interesting one for sure. See what they want to blind
Could
in
be
here.
Ari as well.
Could just blind the Ari, but that might just open up for maybe some assassin play from the side of Ian. I mean, you can predict the placement on the death mark, so you
It'll be Ari versus Zed almost certainly, because Ian has played it recently. Talon is another possibility for specifically MVP, but again, you could go physical damage if you wanted, and they will blind the Talon on the side of Rox. Only magic damage coming through from Zyra, so maybe the call was that Mickey wanted to play Talon, but to me it's too early to be making that decision, given that Talon is expected to be pretty high priority, whether it's a blind pick in the first round or second round. Talon would have fit the MVP comp really cleanly, so it is taken away, even if it doesn't necessarily lend itself to the draft.
So where do you go here if you're Ian?
All of these are considerations.
Just teasing a couple.
He's going to go for the lane.
Alrighty, here we go. Pantheon.
He's going full in for the lane. We knew it would be an AD champion, but the first Pantheon of LCK Summer. The crowd is loving this. We've seen this particular matchup be moused over before, where people would show Pantheon and then not quite have the stones to lock it in, and it's Ignite Pantheon mid lane against the Talon. We're going counterpick City.
Alrighty then, here we go. Pantheon mid. So, nice little lock in here for Ian. MVP continued to surprise, and I'll use the word innovate right now, but I might redact that after this game. We'll see what happens, but for now, things are looking really interesting as we get ready to go into game number 2. So Rumble back in for ADD. As you said, had the best performance out of all the people trying Rumble for the first time in the top lane. So we'll see if he can replicate that here now, not exceed it. And then we'll get our sights set on Pantheon versus Talon in the mid lane.
The last Pantheon mid I remembered was Coco against Rox Tigers, dying again and again and again. He's against the Rox Tigers, different Rox Tigers today is Ian, who's gone creative with the Pantheon mid lane. A lot of pressure in terms of pushing in multiple lanes for MVP, as you'd expect with a Rumble draft, so we're gonna have to see some heroic play on the Rengar, you'd have to think, from Mighty Bear, and some Talon outplays as well.
We'll see what happens. Some decent semi-global plays to come through here with that Abyssal Voyage with the Grand Skyfall. Let's see if MVP can pull it off, or if they're going to have to scrap this and move on to game number 3. Let's go ahead and get on to the Rift. Always have to play that intro to just make you as depressed as possible.
Have to remember the lost, but also appreciate what we have, which is a sick mid lane matchup, that's for sure, in this game 2. There he is, Baker Pantheon.
I mean, you really have to consider right now, most of the Rox Tigers, the members from last year are struggling quite a bit.
You're right.
Peanut having that really rough first series.
Struggling in first place.
It's so hard.
Relative struggles.
He's definitely doing the best out of everybody.
You know, there's a lot of talent there. I think it'll work out.
Should be K.
I'm excited for Baker Pantheon.
That shield is absolutely ridiculous.
What about the cheese?
I think it's...
It might be a loaf of bread also.
Wait, what?
Butter?
That's butter, I think.
Okay,
it's a
yeah.
butter knife.
You can slice like butter.
Yeah.
Well, if he gets enough lethality, he can do that to champions too.
Just shred him. Start coming through here on the Raptors for Mighty Bear.
Seen this before. They might be actually taking the red buff here, Rox.
Oh, they're going to go ahead and...
Or they're just doing a sick leash for Mighty Bear.
Oh, wow. All right. That's really going to boost his clear.
In recent times, we've seen a lot of bot lane taking the red buff, but with some advanced knowledge and seeing the red buff being early taken by Beyond, they won't make that call. So no advantage for Sangyu in that situation, but a huge speed advantage for Mighty Bear.
Will translate into some aggressive plays inside the jungle of MVP is my question. You know, do we see him go for an invade, or does he just continue on with his path? Still accelerates it, but will they be able to get any aggressive advantages from it?
And the only information MVP had in terms of level 1s that Songyun and Ki both come in with lost health and lost mana, but they would not be able to know how creative Rox have been with their start. Certainly will launch Mighty Bear to a very fast clear time, but he will run out of camps, so probably have to make something happen. ADD is going to be surprised to see Mighty Bear at his Grom.
Spots him out, just going to chip him down a little bit. So throws out those Electro Harpoons, but won't get too much in. Meanwhile, Ian going low, Ignite comes down. He's dead. That's first blood going over to Mickey.
Oh, going for the lane counter pick and being outplayed is Ian. Remember, doesn't have teleport either. Nice stuff from Mickey. Disrespectful Baker play there. And, yep, Samsung White Talon looking pretty good.
A nice start here for Mickey. Flash and Ignite are down. Beyond going to visit this mid lane, but Mickey can just go ahead and leap his way over the wall into the Raptor pit.
And the cost of his death there is a massive double-stacked minion wave as well, so he'll be so far behind in terms of experience. And I'm sure you and I and everyone at home has played with plenty of Pantheon and solo queue, always a favorite, whether it's mid lane or top lane. And when they're behind, they don't do too much, Kilios.
No, they do not. So it's going to be a really rough start. I mean, double longsword, cloth armor here for Mickey. He is just going to be destroying Ian.
And only the control ward for Ian. So you're right. Suddenly, things like counterpick hold very little value. Pantheon went ahead when he's playing in a short lane with ward coverage and a jungler that can gank like Elise is a counterpick to Talon. But when behind, those words sound silly because it becomes so much harder to pull off the pressure. Bart is dying, and Ian's flash is down.
There's going to be a lot of heavy lifting to be done by the rest of the team. Jump in here from Mighty Bear. They're going to hand over the kill. Mighty Bear does have to flash for that, but
this observer is so troll.
He's all about this one. 2-0 for Mickey, the assist over to Mighty Bear.
I think our observer's been playing with some Pantheons recently, Achilles.
Yep. They tilted him, and now he's going to try to punish him.
Well, mid lane's
our
a wash.
Pantheon mains is not going to like this game.
Mid lane's a wash now.
I mean,
there's no coming back from losing the minions. It's not the death so much. You know, we've seen 2-kill top laners get back because they can teleport to the first wave, but missing out on that many minions, that much experience, means the gold lead is 1,000, and the implied gold lead of 2 levels is over 2,000, I would say.
I mean, every time he walks back into mid, it's going to be like Groundhog Day. He's just going to have deja vu constantly. He's just going to get wrecked over and over again.
Oh, dear. It's a bad spot, let's say, for the mid lane.
You had to say something about me bringing the 2 zeros. You just had to say it, Papa Smithy. There is still a chance MVP have the rest of the team to rely on, but it's already a 1,000 gold deficit completely coming out of the mid lane.
Yep. No analysis needed there. I think even the Korean cast is having some fun.
They're all having a laugh right now.
Mighty Bear, while accelerated, will have to pull off some sick double kill bot lane ganks to make up, well, to even extend what is already a big lead. So the Rengar's accelerated, the mid laner's accelerated, and beyond. What's a boy to do?
I mean, Mickey can just do whatever the hell he wants. He can just keep bullying out Ian. He can roam. He can do... Yeah, I mean, the map is his playground right now.
And for Talon, a champion who can rotate faster than basically every champion short of perhaps, you could argue, Pantheon, and certainly Twisted Fate. For him to be level 6 to only just level 5 is a problem that spills into other lanes, and to have that big of an advantage through mid, something like the Infernal Drake being the first spawn is perfect for Ox Tigers.
Yeah. See how MVP, what they do as far as their damage control. Because this is a red alert right now. Spectre Scowl comes through from Shy, so he's going to be pretty all right in that top lane. He and Mighty Bear coming in, flash forward, exhaust is down. It's just, ooh, alrighty.
Well, Ian's MVP elation has now become depression.
Congratulations, you're MVP, and now you're just getting tenderized.
He didn't need to pick Pantheon. He clearly really wanted to. He got inspired by Max and his mantra of always win with dirt picks. He got excited by the Scion ban at support and the Vel'Koz ban, and now he's, yeah, he's in trouble.
Somewhere Sassen's like, yes, someone else understands.
Sasson played a lot of unique champions, but he lost with a lot of unique champions. It's his problem.
Yep, and there you have it, Infernal Drake. 7.5 minutes over to Rocks Tigers. I mean, at what point do we just write this one off?
I think it's a later point than this, just because Pantheon will get some armor penetration, and Pantheon's build was always pretty cheap. It's not Brutalize the Last Whisper anymore like it was once upon a time, but he also scales better just because his itemization is better. You know, it used to be, again, Brutalize the Last Whisper, and then you're like, I guess Black Cleaver, and then everything feels bad. Whereas now, there are lethality items to fill up your inventory, but yeah, it's a problem for sure. I don't know if ganking mid anymore will gain anything for Rox, so I'm looking for Rox to make plays in other maps. His Talon should be able to roam very easily.
I mean, you say that, and Mickey's starting to cheat his way up towards the top side of the map, but Control Ward is in the river, so he does get spotted. So we'll just hand him a blue buff, so he can rake the Pantheon that many more times.
Rake him over those really hot burning coals.
Definitely one of those things that can be hard to watch for now, though. ADD. And Shy not going to land. Throws down the equalizer. Shy still going low, but Mighty Bear is here to try to equalize.
Look who it is!
Unattended, but yeah, here comes the man drop, and they actually turn it around. Mickey not able to find his way in time. And that's 2 kills on the board for MVP. So all right, nice rotation up towards that top side of the map. Puts them on the board. Not going to get shut out now. Mickey getting caught by the good flash over the wall. They're turning it around, boys. Shadow Assault. Mickey jumping over, trying to make it out. But the spear flies straight and true. And MVP shutting me up real quick. Swing their way back into this game and into a gold lead.
And they get the gold lead because there's that diminishing returns, killing the same person again and again. And now suddenly, first lethality item's not that far away. And exactly, putting paid to just judging a game over too early. Now, if Talon had killed mid lane, then killed side lanes, you're like, well, that's a problem. When they keep investing everything into killing the Pantheon, that's where there still is hope for Rox Tigers.
I'm very sorry, MVP.
Look
I
at
yield.
this. We're going to make some sick bread. I love how Castajun very clearly has not ever seen Baker Pantheon and is just stoked by the animations. It's great.
Oh, God. Well,
interestingly, does spend his gold on
turnaround.
Ninja Tabi, so clearly Ian expects to be ganked again.
Oh, well, Song Yun. He's all right. Arcane shifts over the wall. Beyond is here, though, and has not been spotted.
I definitely can respect Ian going Ninja Tabi, being like, well, I flashed, so they're probably coming back. He also reset his bounty in many ways.
Yeah, almost certainly. Ash Arrow comes out, though, finds Key Repel coming down. He used to stand united, but it's not going to arrive in time. They come up with the kill, and Devour is there to take Beyond out safely. Two-shot barrage could be used by Songyun, but the heals are coming through, and I think Beyond would still live. But now Mighty Bear lurking in the corner. I don't think the Hawk shot, it did clip him inside the brush. The ping comes through, so they will be able to retreat.
And nice stuff from MVP. Beyond on a champion he's known for. Good pathing from him. To answer in other lanes is big for them.
I'm still just tickled by this game.
Tickled pink, it sounds like. Kilios.
Really am.
Well, Rengar is still bottom.
Tom Kench is there, so should be all right.
Go will wait maybe even for Zyra, which is a long investment into bot lane. To me, this is
Yep, there we go.
a jungler listening completely to his lanes without making any selfish decisions, because a lot of junglers, you know, 5-10 seconds into that would have pulled away, but Mighty Bear really hoping to make something happen bottom and not to be. And MVP still have things to like. They still have pushing in top lane. It's still Rumble versus Shen, which plays out exactly as we know it. And Talon's location is known. So for now, not worried about a turnaround. I don't think that's spotted beyond in the brush there.
Well, it's Maha, so.
That's true, okay. My apologies.
Shadow Dash has been used. AD just trying to bait Shy in, draw him out. The wave's moving up. No flash available. Cocoon connects. Big Flame Spitter coming through. He throws up the shield, but that's not going to be enough. They go ahead, dive on in. ADD taking up. Mighty Bear arriving now. Should be able to find one on the Beyond. Trying to run away through the Equalizer, but Key appears out of nowhere in the top lane. Comes up with the kill. Now Mickey arriving. Should be able to pop ADD. Misjudges with the rake, but the Shadow Assault comes through. Scrap Shield trying to keep him alive. Ignite comes down.
He's gonna live.
And yeah, last tick. Won't do it. ADD walking away with about 10 HP. Mighty Bear's on the hunt, though.
He has flash.
Won't
Not
be able
gonna
to get
get
there
it.
in time. Wow, so one kill comes out, so they trade 1 for 1. Ian, he's going to go for it. They see this coming in. Oh, nope. Cancels it.
Everything that Ian does is hilarious this game. The crowd is losing their mind every time he considers making a play.
I mean, this went from brutal to watch to just absolutely wonderful.
It does feel like we are watching an aborted scrim, or like a scrim leaked out and we're watching it now. We're like, okay, we'll just commentate over a scrim, whatever. And that makes it great. Much less depressing than Coco's game on Pantheon that went very similar to this one, except he kind of suicided into the enemy team 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, and that one was picked blind.
That's true, actually. I
It was
remember that.
just blind Pantheon.
We cast that game together. That was a game. Back at the Yongsan Stadium.
Yep.
Bible thump.
Yep. It was looking like we would have a similar level of brutality, but it's definitely been tapered off by MVP.
Seems like the first completed item for Ian is going to be very significantly delayed. I mean, we already knew what his build was going to be. Ghost Blade. Maybe he's going to be delayed now because he's going to go towards just the Black Cleaver, perhaps, to be at least a utility champion. Obviously, Pantheon before never used to have utility, but the way the Heartseeker Strike interacts with Black Cleaver makes him at least AoE shred with the Black Cleaver, since every strike counts as a separate cast of the Black Cleaver.
Collapse coming around. Here, Mighty Bear. Cocoon not going to clip him, but still would have been all right. See Ian just...
He doesn't have any control over lane, which is the biggest problem.
He's hovering around.
So he can't walk up and trade with Mickey, which means he has to cede the lane control and already loses out in the pursuit of pushing very hard to Rake.
I mean, look at that top turret, though. Almost been taken down by ADD by himself. So much pressure coming out of this Rumble. Yandre's Torment doing wonders for him.
Whereas with no help at all, well, with a lot of help, let's be real, things are going well also in the mid lane. Turning on to an answering Drake for MVP, but clearly Mighty Bear has other ideas.
So the hunt coming through will be actually taken away by Max. And United coming down. Grand Skyfall coming in as well. Ian landing, trying to take out Mighty Bear. Won't be able to find him as he flashes over the wall, but Ian actually will go ahead and chase in. The spear will not kill him, and now Ian is in no man's land. Will get taken down. Last hit comes through from Mickey, who picks up the double kill. Trade that for first brick and an Ocean Drake.
His first instinct was to go in aggressively. He pulled back, but then realized if he didn't flash, couldn't trade, so there was nowhere out. And because ADD curiously did not decide to teleport at all, just went for first brick, intent to go in aggressively cost MVP. They couldn't have a Grand Skyfall, but not a teleport if they wanted less than one person to die. But MVP do pick up objectives on the backside, so it doesn't end up being a lopsided trade, and MVP still ahead in gold.
Well, it's pretty much dead even at this point. So the kill's doing some work here for the Rocks Tigers, as well as that CS lead that is accrued in the mid lane. So that is keeping them even with MVP as it stands. Infernal Drake will be helping them out silently as well.
Beyond trying to finally relieve some pressure in mid lane. Maybe a bit late for that, but just trying to see what they can turn here as the turret just dies incidentally.
He sees Mighty Bear. Yeah, the turret does go down. Beyond pushing out. Won't find anything with that cocoon, however.
Let's try and take stock of what's happening in lanes other than top of mid, because bot lane especially hasn't really been the focus of too much. Once again, going to be the same Ashe build coming through. With the Blade of the Ruin King. Unsure which Zeal item, but recent evidence suggests it's going to be Phantom Dancer.
Top damage coming through onto Maha. They'll go ahead and peel back, but now Mickey gets caught by the cocoon, stuck in the Shadow Assault, so won't get any damage.
To draw an ultimate out of Rox Tigers, so a micro win, but a win nonetheless.
Yeah, 2 of them, counting the Shadow Assault.
Here's ADD, who's had a whale of a time, just farming up, completely unimpeded.
Been doing quite all right. Pokes his head out in the mid lane, though, so he is spotted. He'll just go back up to the top and continue harassing Shy. Who's been, CSing rather well, has that TM out there, so can clear out the waves reliably.
Cole cashed in for Sungyun as well has been a big part of why Tigers are now ahead in gold over MVP. Ninja Tabi's everywhere, as we can see. Although Key's bold. Probably realized he's going to die. He's going to go out in a burst of glory with the Sorcerer's Shoes. Don't see those very often.
Yeah, just trying to do as much damage as he possibly can before he goes down.
A heroic last stand.
Sacrificing himself for the greater good.
Yep. It's one way to play the game. So Mickey doesn't have that many lanes to roam around that are short. Side turrets going down are the biggest friend of Talon, because you have a lot of different unique ways to get bot. It's bot lane.
Mighty Bear jumping in, max down to half HP, pops the shield but gets rooted. And he will go down. True Shot Barrage comes through, but Key picks up the kill.
Doesn't use any summoners, but only had Exhaust up. Was always going to die in that scenario, and Rumble keeps pushing. Let's see if Mickey this time can find a spot to get to top. Seems like the answer is yes.
Jumps in over the wall. TP is going to be coming through from ADD, trying to take himself out to safety. There's no silence on that Talon anymore, so he'll be all right.
Oh.
But TP's down, and just a bit too deep of a roam in there, Key. Gets picked off, and Ian puts a kill on the board for himself.
Interesting. ADD kind of teleported to the same area to see what was happening, to maybe mop up on the back end. But if they can turn this into a second turret, that'd be a nice little win for MVP. Usually you just teleport to a random turret, but was actually able to organize it as,
well, all right. Well,
we know how this one goes.
Yeah, that'll do it. Hello. Takes him out.
Killed by a baker. Feels bad.
Definitely does. ADD, though. But being a
flash.
world of hurt.
Not
Some
gonna be enough.
coming through, trying to keep him alive. Devour will come through at the last second, right as he uses the equalizer. They get the blast cone off, pops over the wall, but Mickey's here.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he's going to jump over it. ADD is still alive. Now they're going to try to trade this one back. Shy dashing forward, can't get in range to lock him down. Songyun, however, is able to take out Ian
Wolves with the
somewhere
assist.
else in the fight. And yeah, the Wolves help out as Max comes up with a kill onto Mickey. I'm not sure what happened to Ian, however. It's a dead Baker.
I just love how both these mid laners keep dying without context all over the place to random stuff. It's great. This game is complete madness, OGN Legion. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, this is definitely a fiesta.
We should have known when the Talon was locked in. Sorry, the Pantheon was locked in. Talon was much more normal. So all this was to try and get a turret bottom that was never claimed. And actually, it's Rox Tigers that pick up the other turret, as we were focused on the intense action here, where
we saw how this one transpired.
that was a sick escape overall.
Okay.
Well, Ian's not very tanky, it turns out.
Just that, well, I'm dead, so I might as well hit you with a spear.
It gets on the damage dealt chart after the game.
Slowly building up. Somehow Ian has the most damage in the game at the end of this.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, all right, MVP doing MVP things. They're going to start up this Baron. Ping is coming out from Rox.
I mean, Blade of the Ruin King, remember, and attack speed on the Ashe. They could do this pretty fast, and
they're not
pings
rotating.
haven't come through at all.
Yeah, they're pinging it, but they just have no clue. No one's rotating over there fast enough to stop this by the look of it. The Baron going low. They spotted out with the scrying plant. Mighty Bear is nearby. They take this one away. Mickey gets locked up. They have to exit out the backside of the pit, though. An MVP, they get the Baron, but they might just suffer an ace at the backside of this. Ian, not tanky, will get devoured up. as Max escorts them out. But they lose 2 members for it, so won't have the full Baron buff on every member. Now ADD getting jumped on, might just lose another one. Eternal Thorns comes down, he gets popped. The Grasping Roots, rather. And suddenly it's only 2 buffs here for MVP, and they're going to lose a lot off the backside of that Baron take.
They're still behind in gold. They'll lose mid lane turret, maybe even the inhibitor turret, because there's not a lot of wave clear at all on the side of MVP. It's a bit worrying when your best wave clear champion arguably is the Rumble with an assist from the Ashe, but they're just going to keep pushing.
I mean, it's out of the Pantheon. If he can walk up to the wave, you can see him trying to clear out right now. Max gets a Devour in on the Shy, spits him out. He's going to flash to the other side, but should still get taken out, and he does. As Ian finds the killing blow. They're able to
He's
take
going to
one
ult
back,
onto
but
Talon. That's the question. He is.
yeah, he's going for the top lane, but he will just be able to clear out the wave in the end. So there you go. Takes that out. Still down by 50 CS. They'll hold on to the tier 1 in top.
We're going to see the replay. So what MVP thought here was that Maha didn't have flash. They were going to do it quickly. They wanted Max to flash over and devour him over the wall, but that wasn't possible because if you see the replay, watch how they flash out. So Max flashes out, and then because of the taunt, not in range of the Devour, which is only just over the wall.
Well, at least he is able to use it to keep Ian alive.
It's pretty cool that you can actually continue to Heartseeker Strike when you're in the belly.
Meanwhile, though, Equalizer coming down. ADD makes it into the Zonias, but Shy is here. He's trying to get back underneath the turret, but Mickey just does too much damage. They'll come up with the kill, and likely that tier 1 turret in the exchange. Ian and Max are roaming their way up top to try to hold on to that last outer turret. Might just be able to do so. You can see the recalls coming through, so they won't be sticking around.
You forget, and after some of those replays, the Baron buff is still on some members of MVP. But this is still sort of unorganized game where Talon does prosper. We saw in our first series where in game 1, Faker drafted the Talon. He's done so well on recently. No turrets went down, and the Talon was stymied. The moment you saw Pantheon and 3 kills early, you knew this wasn't going to be one of those kind of games. So
this is the highest level of League of Legends.
You know,
It's truly.
it's fun to embrace when it's just in moderation, you know? You watch your popcorn films. This is your Pirates of the Caribbean. You're like, oh, this is pretty fun. Like, I know some of these guys. They're pretty cool. I saw them in other games that were better, but this one's still fun. It's not your art house flick, you know?
Yeah.
This is your popcorn flick.
As Beyond getting popped up. Bowers there from Max. Takes him out to safety. Almost goes down.
Do notice that there's almost item parity between Ian and Mickey. It's only a serrated Dirk, which given the early game and the CS lead,
It's
you'll
very
take that.
surprising.
It's could have gone way, way worse for MVP. But it's them being caught in different lanes, Rumble overextending and losing another Baron, then walking top and dying. Like, that's the sort of thing where ADD was one of the people that had an unimpeded early game. You imagined he would be the brick wall for them to build upon, but instead has been also making some big mistakes. Difficult for MVP to contest too much. Ashe arrow.
Yeah, jumped away last second there by Song Yun. Keeps himself safe. Not sure how much follow-up there would have been on the backside of that, but still. Nice little arcane shift. But yeah, this is definitely the fun, silly show or movie that we got going on.
Even
right
though it's not the fun, silly time of the season, this game actually does have large ramifications. If Rocks lose, they're effectively out of playoffs. They already are in terms of their schedule being so hard that it's very unrealistic that they make it through, but you know, you always want a chance. You want your destiny to be in your own hands, which if they win to some degree it is. But on the side of MVP, you know, they're sitting at 10 match wins. They're almost into playoffs. If they get to 11, they're not mathematically, but effectively in playoffs. So despite the picks being a bit creative, there are still big ramifications when we're only, after today, it's only the 5 match days left in the regular season.
Yeah, it went by really fast. Already have that final week coming up, and then we can start off with the playoffs.
They haven't announced the dates, but it is a bit of a longer run-in this time. We don't have all of the gauntlet matches in a week, so
yeah,
going to be some breathing room, but potentially more time for adaptation from between teams. As you'll remember, it was 2 days between match days before, which made it very tricky. Hoping that all gets announced officially soon.
See when what the schedule's going to be like as we move forward. You'd imagine with the final week coming up that we'll have that released pretty soon, hopefully.
I think Kesper technically is the one to release that information, so
Sounds about right.
feel free to tweet at KesperEN. If you want more information, we'd love to know too.
When's my playoffs?
When's my playoffs? All I can think of is hold my beer for some reason now.
That's what Ian was. That's exactly what Ian said.
Every time he goes to the Grand Skyfall, it's kind of a hold my beer moment.
I mean, he might just be dropping it with the beer in hand at this point.
That's true.
He does kind of seem a little bit inebriated with some of these plays. ADD going to get jumped on.
Okay.
Zonias will deny the pop-up. They have the follow-up damage to take him out. There's on the equalizer, flashes over the wall. Devour is there to take him out the safety as well. But MVP really struggling now in this game.
Not over. Even the gold lead it feels bigger. It's only 2,500 gold, which is not a lot by any means at 27 minutes. They even have more Drake stacks somehow.
I mean, you can just see, though, how hard it is for them to push outside of the base.
But they could win the fight. Like it's not in any ways a guarantee at this point. I mean, the comp is not the most reliable. You may have initiation, but you're kind of just waiting for Mickey to instant kill Maha, who has a chain vest, so at least he's kind of cotton on to that. I don't know how much that helps, really.
Probably not much.
This has kind of been a build that's been unique to Maha, who's been going 3rd or 4th item Guardian Angel on the Varus we saw this week, and it seems like it's going to be Ashe as well. When we see Deft in these situations, he'll go double lifesteal. I am actually a big fan of Bloodthirster and Blade the Ruin King into Hurricane, because that's 35% lifesteal after the buff, and then the Hurricane Bolts gives you effectively around 70% lifesteal.
See Rocks.
Oh, every time you attack, move the Blasting Plan, it's hilarious.
You can see Rocks getting prepped for with the vision around the Baron. Know that they have to place this just to stop MVP from going for a sneak.
And the level 16s are really big for ADD and Shy. Neither of them have got them yet, but level 3 Equalizer and especially 850 shield for Mickey to run wild in the backline as possible as Beyond's caught.
Yeah, it's going to be Stand United coming through. He goes up with a repel, but Zenimate places a drop. Max is going to be there for the Devour, but can he walk him out safely? Spits him out on the back end, gets clipped by the true shot barrage. He comes in on the TP, but gets absolutely annihilated immediately. Max flashing over, slowed up by the Rake, and the Mystic shot at the end will be able to take him out. That's going to be 2 kills picked up here for the Rocks Tigers as they turn their sights over onto that Baron.
Yeah, incomplete vision for MVP meant that Mickey got access to the backline with that Shen ultimate. Didn't even need it to be the level 3 Shen ultimate.
No, they're not going to go for it.
The health bars on the frontliners were low, so they choose to make the safety play, but that actually means that once again MVP are still in the game. The gold lead does grow, but teams have just been finding it really hard to put them in the grave when they've gone for these creative comps. However, as we say that, investing in teleports, so theoretically they'll be turning onto it again.
All right, there we go. Well, it's still going to be 2 seconds here for ADD. No TP for him to join in the fight quickly, though. Hawkshot comes out. They will have vision of this. Beyond going to get jumped on as Mickey goes forward. And now he might just turn on to Maha, who goes low, flashes away with the heal. Might still go down. They actually trade one back. Mickey gets killed, but they are able to take out Beyond, which means that Baron will get picked up by the Rocks Tigers.
Correct move from Mickey. He drew enough attention in the backline. Sure. There was no way for Beyond to get in, and the taunt also registered from Shy. He's seen these before. Smart goaltending from him. So they get the buff. That's the big thing. That's the big separator of the two teams. It's not an Elder Dragon. We're only 30 minutes in, so it's just going to be an Ocean Drake.
Oh, yeah.
It gives them something. At least they'll have a 3-stack Elder Dragon to fight for if they can survive another 6 minutes. That's 36-20 to be the spawn on the Elder Dragon. Wave clear for MVP is poor. And the moment Shen ultimate is up, Talon can just kind of Rambo in to zone away from a turret. So if Rocks Tigers break the base during this Baron buff, they got a real shot at making something like Elder Dragon completely irrelevant, but it's still a big if.
Look, we know that even if there wasn't a Stand United, Mickey would be Ramboing his way in. So
That's fair.
That's an inevitability for sure.
I really wanted to play Galio after the Galio rework.
Oh, yeah.
Even though you're not targeted with your ultimate engage, I'm sure he'll make some creative plays.
Just jump straight in there. It'll be exciting to see how that Galio affects pro play. Won't be seeing it for a while, you'd have to think.
I know Zyrene was talking on Twitter about the champion not being available for NA through to finals, so I'm guessing in Korea it'll probably be the same story. Maybe the relegation matches, but because it's going to be, we'll jump to to the next patch, 7.6 at some point, but as a reworked champion, it adds more time. So looking like no Galio for us. MSI Galio, though, a real possibility.
Faker, bring it back out. Played in the Kespa Cup. Why not an MSI? They're like the same, right?
I mean, we don't question Faker, but we can question him.
Oh.
This looks so dapper when he does it. But what do we say? We wanted Rocks to be taking turrets, and so far thwarted. They're going to get mid lane low. Okay, this would be what they need to do.
Wanted a lot of things,
well,
but didn't
here
really
we go.
turn out that way. Grand Skyfall coming through. Ian on the backside. Going to be targeting out Key so far. Able to find one kill onto Mighty Bear. EDD goes in for the Zonias, keeps himself alive for a little bit. Ian playing man mode, jumping in, almost goes down, barely stays alive, but Songyun starting to trade it back, comes up with a double kill, taking out Beyond and ADD. Can they find more? Looks like it's going to be the Guardian Angel pop here onto Maha, now surrounded by multiple members. He'll get popped, a double kill coming through for Mickey. And can they just finish the game right here? Baron empowered creeps, inhibitor falls, and it's just Ian against the world.
He pops an elixir. He's ready to fight. He needs to hold the line here. Ian doesn't have a lot of wave clear. Baron buff minions.
Well, Flash taunt goes through. He gets locked down. Tries to trade one back on the Songyun. Cannot find it. And that will be Rocks Tigers taking us to game number 3 as they close this out. 33 minutes on the clock.
Well, maybe scratch the Pantheon off the list of champions for Ian. Looks like maybe MVP would find a way to stabilize with a creative pick, but that seems to be a max exclusive thing. Maybe ADD when it comes to Ian. Stick with what you're good at. Get back to the Syndra, because unfortunately the Pantheon was the furthest away from a happy hunting ground as possible when he died 3 times before 10 minutes.
Yeah, too many mad scientists here on MVP. There's only room for 2 of them.
Somehow, Ian's like, really? Pantheon mid was the line? I thought you crossed it with the Elise. That wasn't even a flex pick. He just drafted support Elise.
Well, it's really easy for MVP to figure out where things went wrong.
Ian looks nonplussed. Nonetheless,
just all right. Well, let's not draft.
You can see the coach there. He's already got the single line through Pantheon. No more Pantheon for MVP.
Right. That one's dead.
There's 2 champions MVP can't play: Pantheon and Shyvana.
That's true.
Those are the only ones the mad scientists have really failed with in LCK Spring 2017. And the Rocks Tigers, again, very faint hopes of making it to the gauntlet, but not gone. Still a glimmer. They have more to fight for here than MVP, but MVP should be doing better than Game 2.
Yeah, we'll see how they go back into the draft here for game number 3, but Rocks going to keep it rolling here tonight. About to be 10 p.m. Might just be a late one for us here, Papa Smithy. We'll see what happens.
Ready for some more innovation. Show me the new picks.
I mean, you never know. Maybe we just get some more wacky picks coming out from MVP here in game 3 to close out the night. We'll find out when we come back. We're going to go to a quick break. When we return, we'll have game number 3. We'll see who takes the cake here, whether it'll be MVP or the Rocks Tigers. Keep the playoff hopes alive. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in just a few.